Hiya, welcome to the Garden Whisperer. I'm Ed, and this little guy you see here is CK, my trusted gardening helper. We're both chuffed to bits that you're joining us today. Today's video is a real treat for all you bud lovers out there. Fancy turning your garden into the local bud hotspot? Well, you're in the right place. Today, you'll learn how to attract birds to your garden. So, if you're keen on bringing a bit of bird life to your backyard, keep watching. Now, before we fly off, here's a quick bit of housekeeping. Please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell. This way, you'll never miss out on our gardening adventures. Are you sorted? Brilliant, let's crack on. Now, aren't birds just the best? They brighten up our gardens with their vibrant colors, delight us with their songs, and bring an incredible variety of species right to our doorstep. So why not swap that Netflix binge for some nature watching, right from the comfort of your own home? From sprightly sparrows to hummingbirds, there's a whole world out there for us to discover. Not only are these lovely creatures entertaining, but they also double up as nature's pest controllers. Aphids, worms, moths, locusts, you name the pests, and our feathered mates are more than happy to dine on them. It's a win-win for us all. The birds get a good feed, and we get a pest-free garden. Now, that's what I call a fair day's work. But there's more to these bud buddies than just pest control. They also play a crucial role as pollinators, especially the smaller ones like hummingbirds. These little champions help our gardens bloom by spreading seeds and pollen far and wide. Their slender tongues are perfect for sipping nectar from flowers, and along the way, they pick up and drop off pollen. Honestly, it's nothing short of fascinating how these tiny creatures contribute to the blooming beauty of our gardens. So, here's to you, hummingbirds. You're doing a smashing job. Alright, brace yourselves folks. I'm about to channel my inner David Attenborough. Well, the discount version anyway. Alright, let's get to the nitty-gritty. And what's the number one rule to win over these feathered fellows? Food, of course. Now, you might think that popping down to the local pet shop and grabbing a bag of generic bird seeds will do the trick. Well, not quite. If you're really serious about attracting a variety of birds, you need to understand their diet. Take the American goldfinch, for example. They simply adore thistle and milkweed seeds, while bluebirds have a hankering for insects and fruits. And if you're keen on welcoming red robins into your garden, filling a bud feeder with mealworms would be a smart move, as these chaps are ground foragers by nature. And then, you've got birds like the orioles, who are berry lovers, or black-billed magpies, who prefer nesting higher up in trees and have a more diverse diet, ranging from vegetable matter to small lizards and insects found in the tree canopies. The beak shape of a bud can also be a significant clue about their food preference. For instance, hummingbirds with their long slender beaks primarily feed on nectar, while birds with shorter beaks are usually fruit and seed pickers. And then we've got the raptors, with their sharply edged beaks, hinting at a more predatory diet. So, you see, there isn't a one-size-fits-all bud food. But there are safe options you can offer, like Niger seeds, dried fruits, roasted and unsalted peanuts, and even dried mealworms. A great treat to keep your feathered visitors happy is to mix these all together. A small gas board for the birds, if you will. In winter, suet can be an excellent source of nutrition. It's essentially a mix of fat and bud-safe foods. But beware if you live in a hotter climate, as suet can melt and become rancid in the heat. As for feeders, it's good to have a variety to accommodate different bud species. Tray feeders, tube feeders, and mesh feeders all offer unique benefits. Window feeders can be a delightful addition, letting you enjoy a close-up view of birds as they feed. Ground feeders are another option, but they do tend to attract other critters. If you want to entice hummingbirds, specially designed nectar feeders filled with a sugar water mix are the way to go. But remember, avoid sweeteners like honey or syrup, as they can be toxic to birds. If you fancy a more natural approach, you can always utilize natural holes in trees or logs and pop some food in there. The crucial thing is to scatter your feeding stations around the garden, so the birds don't have to squabble over snacks. But remember, cleanliness is paramount. Regular cleaning of your bird feeders is vital to keep the pests at bay. But how about providing them with a delightful home away from home? That's right, this segment is all about the habitat. Now, think of your garden as a three-dimensional space that can cater to all needs of our winged friends, from sheltering to perching. And the heart of creating this inviting environment lies in, you've guessed it, growing native plants. As we've mentioned in earlier videos, native plants are the backbone of any thriving garden that's harmonious with its local environment. In contrast, non-native and invasive plants can overrun native ones, attract unwanted pests, and become quite the chore to manage. Picture your garden as a realm with different layers, starting with perennials, hedges, and shrubs. Holly shrubs, with their prickly foliage and bright red berries, provide excellent shelter and food for many birds, particularly our American robins with their charming, orange-red feathers. Then, we have the majestic oak trees, which double as a food source with their acorns and a habitat for many species, including the blue jay, sporting striking blue, white, and black plumage. Next on the list is Miscanthus sinensis, or maiden grass, a tall, graceful plant that not only sways elegantly in the wind but also produces an abundance of seeds. House finches, known for their cheerful red heads and feathers, can't resist the allure of this grass. The black-eyed Susan, or Rudbeckia hirta, with its bright yellow flowers and dark brown centers, is a perennial native to North America that many birds adore. One of the most common visitors being the northern cardinal, known for their bright red plumage and a fondness for the Susan seeds. And of course, we can't forget sunflowers. These cheer-bringing plants are adored not just by us, but also by birds for their large, seed-filled blooms. American goldfinches, who love nothing more than a good seed, are particularly drawn to sunflowers. Beyond choosing bird-friendly plants, remember that a pesticide-free environment, clean water, and suitable shelter are essential to make your garden a bird sanctuary. Speaking of shelters, once you've created a lush environment, your feathery visitors might want a place to nest. Birdhouses come in all shapes and sizes, from sloping roofed ones, usually built from wood with an entrance in the center, to nesting cups which mimic the bird's natural clay and saliva-made homes. Then there are open birdhouses, great for birds that prefer circular nests and easy viewing for us. And for the predatory species, there are raptor boxes, usually built on trees. Or, if you want something more natural looking, you can make a nesting pocket that blends in with the surroundings when hung from trees. Water. Just as we need a refreshing cuppa or a proper shower, our feathery friends also need water to drink and to keep their feathers crisp and spotless. But how do we provide this in our garden, you ask? Through bird baths, of course. Now, let's imagine you're a bird for a moment. You're dipping in for a quick wash or a sip, but you also need to keep an eye out for those sneaky predators. Safety first, right? This is why the placement of bird baths is paramount. They need to be in a position where birds can have a clear view of their surroundings. So, think about placing your bird baths either on the ground or on a stand, where they can have a good vantage point. Now, I have to remind you, bird baths are not a fill once, forget forever kind of deal. It's important to refill and clean them regularly, ensuring the water is fresh and inviting. And no, this isn't just me being a stickler for cleanliness. Birds, much like my dear pup CK, after a run around the park, appreciate a clean, refreshing bath. Also, remember our bird friends are not exactly expert swimmers. Hence, it's crucial that there's a way for them to hop in and out of the baths safely. Consider adding a slanted piece of material for easy access, a bit like a bird ramp, if you will. And that, my dear friends, brings us to the end of our avian adventure. We've covered everything from feeding habits to habitats and finally, water. With these tips, your garden will soon be a haven for birds, providing them a safe, comfortable, and clean place to hang out. Not to mention, you'll be gifted with their beautiful songs and vibrant colors to liven up your little patch of heaven. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this series as enlightening as it was fun to make. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more garden wisdom. So, let's hear it. What's the most unusual bird you've ever spotted in your garden? And here's a fun one. If you could have any bird visit your garden, what would it be? A flamboyant peacock? Drop a comment below. Anyways, we're signing off. Enjoy bird watching. Happy growing and cheerio.